Hey guys, it's Baby Wiggs Broadcasting, and this is my official in-depth review at Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, the series has definitely had its ups and downs, but I can honestly say I like every single one of the games in the series for their own reasons. And while I love the RPG games because I am a huge RPG fan, I was starting to miss the vibe and the feel that the older ones had, making you feel like a master assassin, having a mission and a goal, whether it be getting reinstated as a novice, or working our way back up and avenging our family in Assassin's Creed 2, all the way to exploring the origins of the Brotherhood itself in Constantinople. Assassin's Creed Mirage definitely delivers and is at its best when showing parts of the Brotherhood that we have never seen, and it feels like we are on the initiate end of the recruit system in Brotherhood and Revelations. Remember how Ezio would recruit or rescue citizens and they'd become assassins, and you could send them on missions and rank them up, and eventually they could reach the status of Master Assassin? Well, Mirage does this well, but showing us the life that Basim had before his induction into the Order. We meet Roshan, she rescues us, gives us a choice, meet me at my ship on the docks, or stay and be killed by the Khalifa's guards. We then travel to Alamut, and it feels like truly we don't know anything. We don't know how to climb advanced objects, we don't really know how to fight that well, and we definitely don't have a hidden blade. I do wish the training segment was a bit more drawn out, that way when we did officially become an assassin, it would feel like we really worked towards it. I mean, honestly, it did feel this way, but I think a longer training segment would have made these feelings much more prominent, right? I just want to say thank you to Ubisoft for inviting me into their creator partner program, and I think it's time to get into it. Now, to start this review, I'm going to use a system that I thought up called SPACE: Story, Parkour, Abilities, Combat, and Environment. Now, let's start with the story. Mirage is principally set in 9th century Baghdad during the anarchy at Samarra and follows Basim ibn Ishaq and his transition from street thief to fully fledged member of the Hidden Ones, who fight for peace and liberty against the Order of the Ancients, who desire peace through control. The game has been described as a return to the series' roots, with a bigger focus on linear storytelling and stealth gameplay than more recent installments, which primarily focused on role-playing elements. Nevertheless, in Mirage, Basim is a very lovable character, and I think needed a bit more linear story time to flesh out more. I wouldn't mind at all playing Basim again for another game, but maybe this time show the events between Mirage and Valhalla and what happened in those 12 years. So, my rating for Mirage's story is an 8.5. Great story, but like I said, it could have been longer. Now we're on to the parkour. Now listen guys, as far as the parkour is concerned, this game is incredible. Basim has some moves we have never seen before, and he's incredibly smooth in parkour. While it still feels at times slow, Basim can build up momentum from constantly moving, and if you're good at pressing the right buttons, Basim's parkour can be incredibly smooth and it looks amazing. He can jump and grab tree branches and swing off following with a flip. He can slide under and over objects, smoother than I think we've seen since maybe Unity. It truly feels like a mixture of the old parkour formula mixed with modern day game elements from Valhalla, but slightly quicker. Oh man, look at that slide. Okay. So I'm going to give the parkour a 10 for mixing the older fluidity with the more modern style parkour. Now we're moving on to abilities. The level of thought that Ubisoft put into the abilities while still making it feel like a classic Assassin's Creed game is something to be talked about. Just like the older games in Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, you start out with one ability and tool slot, and the more you upgrade, you receive more. Kind of like the throwing knives or the smoke bombs, but unlike the old games, so this doesn't take the entire story to unlock. It's behind a well-revamped skill point system, which allows you to get pretty realistic abilities and tools, and you can create more tools by finding resources or completing assassination contracts or bureau contracts. The abilities are pretty straightforward, and it feels great when you level up from initiate to novice to disciple to assassin and finally master assassin. Ubisoft really captured the idea of feeling stronger and feeling better prepared the higher in the assassin ranks that you earned, and the more XP you get directly corresponds with how prepared or how strong Besim can be. While he's not a warrior, you can mix your abilities and tools to make combat slightly more interesting, but we'll get into that later. I love this system of collecting realistic resources to enhance your throwing knives, smoke bombs, noisemakers, traps, and sleep darts, versus hunting an absurd amount of animals to upgrade these things. Like past games, you can easily get them by raiding outposts or being stealthy and completing Assassin Bureau contracts. There's even an ability that will allow you to put 2 traits on a tool in your tool wheel, making it actually insane and very helpful in a situation where you need to escape. The smoke bombs can be turned into poison gas, explosive gas, or gas that will make your enemies forget they even saw you. Same thing with throwing knives and all the other tools as well. Pickpocketing is also back, and it's better than it ever was with the new minigame where you have to time it perfectly to get a successful pickpocket. And we have all seen the assassin focus ability on the trailers and teasers of gameplay before release, but I think it's literally amazing, especially when you upgrade it and have multiple enemies you can chain together at the highest upgrade level for the assassin focus abilities. While it can be silly and not very immersive, I just try to see it as an animus glitch. I'm giving the ability system a 10. Wonderful arsenal of jaw-dropping abilities and modifications. Now, let's talk about the combat. Combat in Assassin's Creed Mirage is, well, not that great. While it can be fun for the first few hours, it does feel clunky and slow. Really is a lot of waiting for an enemy attack so you can dodge or block, and it's really just that: attack, dodge, block, attack. And if you block enough times, you can break the enemy's guard, and then it immediately adopts the system from Valhalla with the stamina and clicking one button to insta-kill enemies. Now, you could argue that the same happens in the older games, except my arguing point is the older combat feels better, and this is why. Remember combat from Assassin's Creed 3 and onwards to about Assassin's Creed Unity and even Syndicate. You can fight multiple enemies and attack, but when they attack, if you're quick enough, you can parry and kill them instantly. Yes, but there's different enemy types that may parry or attack, and you may have to kick them or break their guard before you can do any real damage. Maybe parry and kick or parry and throw, and it just feels more fluid and natural, like you're playing a highly trained individual. In Mirage and Valhalla, it feels too much like I have to wait to see what the enemy is going to do, because if I chain too many attacks, then my attacks will be instantly blocked, and now I'm on the receiving end of a guard break and risk serious damage. The combat in this game definitely tells me, in my opinion, you aren't supposed to fight in open combat and instead focus on being as sneaky as possible. Which is why I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10, because while it is fun, it's a bit too simplified and doesn't capture the back to the roots marketing. Now we're on to the environment. Assassin's Creed Mirage is a gorgeous world that's just begging to be explored. Amazing color palette changes happen at every turn, from the vibrant colored outfits on NPCs and enemies to the various outfits the game offers. The city of Baghdad and all of its architecture is gorgeous. Being able to explore the assassin bureaus is a thing we could never do back in the day, and I think it's a great decision to further immerse yourself, like you really belong to a secret order. And it's at its best when you can see it from a bird's eye view with Enkidu, or when you're taking your time to walk through areas and really just take a breath of your surroundings. I've even seen TikTok videos of people from the Middle East praising the game because of its depiction of mosques and how people praying outside of them can be seen doing the correct amount of prayers and all of the steps that match with the religion in that region of the world. While I wasn't able to find anything like that myself, I also just pushed the main story heavily and didn't really explore in depth too much because I was playing on stream and was much more interested in the story. But the desert areas are beautiful as well. I really love taking screenshots and including the environment in my pictures, just a marvel at Ubisoft's version of 9th century Baghdad. Riding the gondola rowboats feels real and believable versus Origins or Odyssey, where you can be in a super deep part of the ocean or water, but somehow this little thin stick can still reach the bottom and propel you forward at insane speeds for boats of its size. In Mirage, it feels realistic because you don't really move all that fast on the boats, and it gives you time to really enjoy what you're looking at. So kudos to Ubisoft for making such a beautiful adaptation of 9th century Baghdad. I give the environment a 10 out of 10 for incredibly gorgeous environment and color scheme. Baghdad is amazing. Well, this leads us to the end of the video where I tell you what my final score is for this game. You guys ready? Drum roll, please. My overall score for this incredible game that Ubisoft worked very hard to provide is a 9.5 out of 10 because despite the combat, this is the best Assassin's Creed game we have seen in years from Ubisoft, and they capture the Back to the Roots formula well, and I hope they keep this formula moving forward. Well guys, that's all I have for you, and I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and taking the time to watch this review. I definitely recommend buying Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's a great game, and I really hope we get story DLC for it. You are all amazing, and I hope to see you for the next review whenever a new game comes out that I get a chance to buy or play. Huge shout out to Ubisoft for allowing me into their Creator Partner Program, and I plan to enjoy many more hours of Assassin's Creed Mirage on my stream, and Assassin's Creed in general on Twitch. This is Baby Wiggs Broadcasting, signing off.